Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. Man, we had a lot of news today. We got to cover them all. Starting with Elon firing everyone left and right from Twitter, starting with the very top. So let's talk about that. Also, let's talk about tech earnings. Absolutely horrible. So horrible, in fact, Jim Cramer did something I've never, ever seen him do before. Apologize sincerely and actually cry about it on national TV. Also, we have a huge inflation data report coming out tomorrow and much more. This is only the tip of the iceberg. So let's get started. Man, there's a lot to talk about tonight, guys. If I have my screen working. Yes, there we go. All right, so first things first, let's start with Elon. We know that tomorrow was the deadline for him to come up with the financing and take over. And I'm guessing that has happened already because people have noticed the CEO and CFO no longer at their desks, escorted out. Did they get fired or did they leave? We don't know. Even if they didn't leave, they would get fired because Elon already told them so. You all need to get the F out. Not only that, the top dog, the top legal dog also left. The guy who decided to ban Donald Trump. Whether you like Donald Trump or not, right? Elon says this will be a platform for free speech. No censorship. Well, he didn't say no censorship. He did say that mostly free speech, but there will be a little bit of censorship recently. But overall, Elon wants to clean house right now, and tomorrow or today, he's already the CEO. So those pink slips, right, he said up to 75%. So there's probably more that's coming, but he's starting at the very top. And I don't know who he's going to be hiring to replace all these people. I know that there was a leaked message before about him asking Jack to possibly come back, and Jack said, nah, not go do that. But who knows? Maybe he will come back. Or maybe other people. Maybe Michael Saylor would take up a position. Who knows? Okay, but that just want to lead off with that. Obviously, people that are Dogecoin holders are all going crazy right now because they know Elon has big plans for Doge within Twitter. Could be the main currency, the digital currency. There's rumors about a crypto wallet already being created, possibly supporting Doge, and hopefully other crypto too, like Bitcoin and Ethereum and others, right? And who knows what else is coming, but Elon could actually make it happen in terms of giving Doge actual utility. Think about that. One man that somehow can pay $54 billion for a company and single-handedly could give utility to Doge. Think about that. So, good things. Good things overall. All right. Now, as for the other tech giants, not doing so well. I told you guys this morning, I thought Amazon was going to have a horrible earnings report. They did. They struck out. They lost a whole bunch of money. Take a look. Their revenue came in lighter. AWS, which arguably is the most important aspect to Amazon, their web services, their cloud services, came in below, right? So these are all bad things. And therefore, Amazon dipped majorly during the day and after hours. So if you combine the two, what? That's 16, 17%. Now, Apple did much better, which I also said. I thought they would have, bad forecasts, but they didn't have bad forecasts either. So their stock is holding pretty well. But we know prior to that, Meta reported absolutely horrible earnings, and they tanked 25% today. Take a look. New 52-week low. Their market cap is now only at $262 billion, which is probably still $163 billion too high, but still, that's my opinion. And one man, I've never, ever seen him like this before, ever in history. Cramer has been wrong many times. Okay, we all have. Okay, I'm not just saying Cramer's the only one that makes mistakes. I make plenty of mistakes too, but I've never seen Cramer this upset about a company. Because if you search Jim Cramer, Meta, or Facebook, you'll see over the last 10 months, he's been telling people, don't give up on Meta, don't give up on Meta, don't give up on Meta. And he keeps saying, don't give up on Meta and keep going, right? And now they had this absolutely horrible quarter, and he's feeling it. So let's just play this real quick, okay? I mean, I'm not trying to kick the guy while he's down, but I'm trying to show you guys how hurt he was actually by this. And to me, it seems sincere. So you guys decide.
Cash flow last year, 9.5 billion. Now less than 1 billion. Yeah, let me say this about this. I made a mistake here. I was wrong. I trusted this management team. That was ill-advised. Hubris here is extraordinary. And I apologize.
Okay. What did you get wrong?
I had a belief that there was a recognition that there is an amount that you can't spend. Contrast that, for instance, with Jim Farley, who took a project that was his, Argo, and closed it because it was not ready. It was not near enough. This situation is almost a rogue situation. I had thought there would be an understanding that you just can't spend and spend right through your free cash flow. That there had to be some level of discipline.
I mean, he's really having a hard time.
But David,
even talking about this.
What did I get wrong? I trusted them, not myself. For that, I regret. Okay. I've been in this business for 40 years.
He's choking up on this.
I'm not proud.
You're not alone.
Proud.
You're not alone, Jim. Morgan Stanley today.
His co-host. The co-hosts don't even know what to do because they probably never seen him ever like this before. I mean, again, we've all been wrong before, right? But man, I've never seen him like this. Never ever. I've never seen his confidence shattered so much over a quarterly earnings like this. So just wanna pinpoint that out. But anyways, tech has been absolutely horrible. Microsoft also sold off, right? So this is kind of like the only time for a long time that I remember where a lot of other companies actually did okay, but the big tech all failed, basically, outside of Apple. So FANG is now just Apple, basically. Everyone else did pretty bad. So yeah, I mean, it's a tough market. It's a tough market, which is why what's happening tomorrow and what's happening next week is so important. Because tomorrow we're going to get that big inflation data, PCE, okay? It's going to tell us whether or not in the U.S. we had more inflation last month, and all this combined is going to force Powell to make a decision. We're already seeing weakening. Okay, we're already seeing weakness. Obviously, the big tech giants are all missing and forecasting a bad Q4. That there's something going on, right? If they can't withstand it, then everyone else is probably not doing that well either. So he has to take that into account. And then he has to look at what's going to be reported tomorrow in terms of inflation. If it's still on the rise, well, then he has to decide. Do we need to crush the market more to stop inflation, or do we just maybe curb it back a little bit, slow it down a little bit so that, yes, we're still raising a rate hike, but not crushing all these companies out there, not crushing hopes and dreams and markets and all that good stuff, right? So tomorrow will be a big day. Now, if tomorrow's inflation data somehow shows we're slowing down and stuff, that's going to be fantastic. But what's coming next week will be the biggest event for the remainder of this year, obviously, because we have November, which traditionally is a very, very, very bullish month. And then we go into December, which also is a very bullish month, right? So let's see what happens. But obviously, tech earnings do show that, hey, these giants are struggling. We still get home data, mortgage data going down, lowest it's been for the last 10 years or 12 years or 18 years, right? We're seeing still a lot of headlines about softening. So this all leads up to Powell. He's in a very difficult position between a rock and hard place. And we will see. We will see. All right. Now, moving on to some crypto news. This morning, I did have someone that kept telling me about this news. But he was a little irritating, so I didn't cover it, but I'll cover it now. Some of you guys may be worried about this. Core Scientific, one of the biggest publicly traded Bitcoin miners, is worried, and they're saying they may go bankrupt. And their stock is down 97% for the year. Okay. Overall, I think they command about 3 to 4% of the overall mining power out there. Still very little. If they shut down, it'll be absorbed by everyone else. No problem. The biggest thing is, do they have a ton of Bitcoin to sell, right? If they're going to go bankrupt, are they going to dump billions upon billions of Bitcoins out in the market? And the answer is no, because they already sold, okay? And this actually explains a lot. They sold $300 million worth of Bitcoin back in July, okay? Or June, and it was reported in July. So why does this make a whole lot of sense? Well, what happened in June? Remember this? Bitcoin was hovering around 30,000 just fine, and then boom, right? We had this big sudden drop that brought us down to 17,000. Now, some people think it was due to the Celsius. Celsius was stopping withdrawals. Some people think it was Three Arrows Capital liquidating, right? But you know what really probably happened was Core Scientific dumped all their Bitcoins. That's probably what brought Bitcoin down, because Bitcoin was already weak. It was down already. People were fearful, and then they dumped it back to 17,000. So that actually explains a lot. Because for Bitcoin to make this kind of movement, you have to have someone huge just dump all of it on the spot market. And that's probably what they did. So the good news is, even if they go bankrupt, they have like no more Bitcoin. They have nothing to sell. So we don't have to worry about more selling pressure from them. But obviously it's not good. If they're struggling, then maybe other miners are struggling as well. But some of the other ones, you know, like HUD 8 and Mara and stuff, even though their stock is down, they have not sold anything. And they continue to add. In fact, if you look at the hash rate for Bitcoin, it's at its all-time high. So everyone is still adding more and more miners. No one else is really, at this point in time, at least they haven't made it public, struggling. So I did want to cover this real quick. So is there any fear about they're going to massively dump Bitcoins? No, because they already pre-sold it. They sold it back in June. And that could be the reason why we're not at 30,000 now, because they dumped us down from 30,000 down to 17,000. And now we're stuck at, 20,000, right? So just want to cover that real quick. Anyways, this is what it's looking like, okay? You guys know Bitcoin is the way. All the macro stuff that I've been talking about, the distrust in governments and financial institutions and PayPal. I just covered about PayPal this morning, about they reinstating $2,500 fine for people that they deem are giving out misinformation or breaking their rules. And they're the judge, jury, and executioner. Okay? So when you have these things happen, people want to opt out. You should opt out of PayPal. You should opt out of banks too. But I mean, it's a little early for that. But at least PayPal. We don't need PayPal. You actually don't need PayPal for anything. But with all this going on, with the miners still hashing away, securing the network, and institutions and whales buying behind the scenes, and holders and addresses all-time high, is leading all to one thing. Bitcoin breaking out of the trend and getting back up. It's just a matter of time. This is why you don't want to give up on Bitcoin. Short-term volatility sucks, but really means nothing on the grand scheme of things. Just think about where we are right now will be basically forgotten in the next run because we will be way, 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 way higher. Just like right now, almost no one talks about Bitcoin being under 4,000 or at 3,000. I remember it, but I don't see anyone else talking about it because people have forgotten about it. Just like when Bitcoin goes above 100,000, 200,000 one day, people are like, man, I don't even remember when it fell to 17,000 back in 2022. It'll be the same thing. Same thing. All right. Now, outside of Bitcoin, some good news about Avalanche. Avalanche, one of the big L1s out there. There's a Japanese giant, GREE, who's absolutely huge with games. They are jumping into Avalanche. They're going to not only go build Web 3.0 games, but also run nodes. So this is a huge, huge endorsement. They have 30 plus million active users. Okay? And they're a key partner to other gaming companies like Ubisoft, Square, Namco, EA. So absolutely huge for Avalanche. Very, very, very big. And of course, Avalanche has been doing pretty well recently if you look at their network and activity and so forth. So all pretty darn good. Now, another gaming company, GALA Games. I'm a big fan of GALA, their platform. They're about to release their spider tanks. Okay, it's been beta for a while. So it looks pretty cool. And also, they're going to come out with another game too. So I like GALA because they're not just one game. They're a gaming platform. So there's a ton of games that have been released. Not a ton, but a few games have been released. But there's a ton in the works that will be coming. So also very positive for GALA Games. And then lastly, for those of you guys, I know you guys love Ben Simmons. I saw this clip and I had to share it. So, you know, airballing is one thing, but airballing a layup is another thing. So let's check this out right here. No one's ahead of him. No one's in front of him. He just airballs. You know, if that was anyone else at 6'10", they would just dunk it. But yeah, that's Ben Simmons for you. All right, so Ben Simmons update. All right, outside those things, that's pretty much it. Bitcoin is 20,300. Went down a little bit since this morning. It was as high as 20,600, 700. But compared to what's happening with tech stocks, Bitcoin is doing pretty darn good. All right, let's do some Q&A. Brian says, I was addicted to Townstar 8 hours a day, 7 days a week. Someone else on my team also said that. He was really addicted to Townstar. I don't know if he still is. But it goes to show you, Townstar is kind of like a Web 3.0 version of Farmville. A little bit. Not the same, but you know, it's created by the same guy. GALA Game was created by co-founder of Zynga. So you know he knows how to make viral games, addictive games. Why apply at Twitter? If Elon asked me personally, I would do so. I would join him. Only if he asked me personally. You know what's cool? Something else that's totally irrelevant. Someone within Google reached out to me asking me to speak. And I'm like, okay, is this thing that you're going to like, you know, publicize? They're like, no, it's like an internal thing. They have these weekly conferences. Just internal people that want to learn more about crypto and Web 3.0. You know, they invite guests, right? They have invited some very prominent people like Raoul Paul and gaming founders, you know, and crypto founders and stuff. And I'm like, that sounds pretty cool. But I don't know how I compare to all those guys. They're all creating something, right? Like, I don't know what I could say that they probably don't know. Who knows? It sounds pretty cool, though. All right, let me see if I missed anything. I gotta scroll up a little bit here. Chris is saying this is not sincere at all in terms of Jim Cramer. I don't know. He sounded pretty sincere. There's a lot of hate towards Cramer. I mean, it's very easy to pick on Cramer, I know, but I mean, this sounded pretty sincere. I mean, he was choked up. He almost couldn't talk. So, and I've never seen that before. I've never, ever seen him be like that. Even after Bear Stearns fell, I don't think he was like that. Yeah, I don't know if you guys caught my PayPal video from earlier this morning. You should. I had a big rant about PayPal. You know, if they don't like what you're doing, they don't like what you're selling, they don't like what you're buying, they don't like what you're saying on social media, they have the authority to lock you out, hold your funds for up to 180 days, and then fine you $2,500 per violation, not just one time. If they deem that you have violated them like 5 times, think about it. Or 4 times, that's $10,000 right there. So I don't think anyone should be using PayPal at this point. I mean, that's just utterly ridiculous. Dan, what happened to Elon Musk tunnel in LA? He still has that. He just has way too many projects. Or solar panels he promised. That's out already. Or I think you're trying to like troll him, but I think you're barking up the wrong alley. He does have solar panel roofs. In fact, I just got a quote on it for my new house. It's horribly expensive. It's horribly expensive, but it is out. The payback just doesn't make any sense. So it makes no sense for anyone to get it, other than they just want to claim they have it. And the tunnel's being built. I mean, it's not easy to dig massive tunnels under LA or anywhere else. So, I mean, he's in a lot of stuff. But if you're in here trying to troll, saying that he doesn't finish anything, I would say if you're going to do that, then talk about FSD. FSD is still not done. I still don't have FSD in my Tesla. I'm still waiting for that. But other stuff, I think he's getting done. Will others come out with their own version of Solana phone? Hey, we already have another version of Solana phone. We have a phone that came out that was supposed to be the best blockchain, most secure crypto phone ever made. And that is this one right here.
What do you think about Ripple?
Well, I mean, I think it's too centralized, but I definitely want to meet Chris Larson.
And you guys wonder why I keep showing this educational video. I think most people overlook the fact that this was from Siren Labs, who created the very first Finny blockchain phone, which was an absolute disaster. And then the founder went on to screw everyone, bought football teams and mansions and cars with the ICO money, and now he's arrested. And what, you know, I think I shared this before. What made me get out of Celsius, what made me deposit, I had a little amount in Celsius. At the time, it was like 170,000. And this was before all the FUD came out, but reports came out that some of the co-founders were attached to Siren Labs and Moshe Hogeg, who was the CEO. In fact, their chief revenue officer was tied directly with Siren Labs. Even the CFO was tied to Siren Labs. So if you look at, and Alex Mashinsky was advisor to Siren Labs, and Moshe Hogeg was an advisor to Celsius. So after I've learned about the whole web thing, right, that's when I got out of Celsius. And then shortly afterwards, like a week or two afterwards, that's when all this stuff came out about stopping withdrawals and stuff, and I covered that. But yeah, there's actually a story behind it. You know, Celsius and the founders are very tied to Siren Labs. Solar panels wear out before they pay themselves. Yeah, I mean, I got quote, the solar panel roof from Tesla was going to be like $200,000. Even with the federal incentives, it brings it down to like 180 or 170. And there's no way I would ever save that much in electricity to ever make that back. Ever. So it just doesn't make sense. And then I got quote for solar panels, and it was like better. It was like 110, but still not going to make up 110,000 worth of electricity within my lifetime. So yeah. So that's why solar panels, solar panel roofs, solar roofs, none of it makes sense. Any new low cap crypto that you believe in? I haven't seen any, honestly. I have not been paying attention. I'm just keeping focused on what I know and the big caps and Bitcoin. If you buy an electric car, you'll never make up for the savings in gas. Okay, just know that. If you're buying a Tesla, it's not like you're going to make that back. There's just no way, because you're paying for electricity too. But you're buying Tesla for the name, the brand, right? Also the car, I mean, pretty tech, fully loaded with tech, and it's pretty darn fast. And you could argue it drives pretty well too, right? So if you're buying an electric car, yeah, you're not going to make that back with savings on gas. You're just buying an electric car. It makes sense if the power goes out in there, and no, it actually doesn't, because there's cheaper forms of electricity. For example, you could buy a generator. Of course, there's a generator where it's gas powered, but there's also generators that's natural gas powered. I didn't know this until recently. If you hook up a gas line to your power, emergency generator, you never have to worry about it. It's always on, right? You don't have to worry about running out of gas and going out to get gas station to get gas. And that is much, much cheaper than getting solar panels. Much cheaper. California governor says don't charge your EV. That's because there's power grid issues because of the drought. I don't think that's the issue anymore unless there's still a major drought in California. There should not be now in October. I may be wrong about that. F-150 or Bronco Raptor? If I had to choose, I'd go Bronco Raptor. It's awesome. And it's not horribly long like a F-150 Raptor. It's as wide and as tall, but I would go with Bronco Raptor. But of course, if you need a utility of a truck, then go with the F-150 Raptor. Am I going to Google Campus? No, they didn't offer to fly me out there. If they did, I would not go anyways because I would be too scared. In public, speaking in front of a camera like this, pretty natural. Speaking in front of a auditorium like full of hundreds or thousands of people, no, I can't do it. You asked me to go do a TED Talk, I can't do it. Andre, carnivore diet, day 5, and I survived 5 days, and so far it's been pretty good. Besides a few stints of like that keto headache, which I know is, you still go through ketosis on carnivore, but like besides just like a few days of that, overall energy level is still good, still eating okay, not getting sick of all the oils yet or fats. I'd say it's pretty good. And tomorrow I'll do a weigh-in again, but I'm pretty sure within this week I've already probably lost 3 pounds. What car would you buy and drive a lot if you have a budget of 10 to 20K? Honestly, get a Toyota. Probably like a used 4Runner. You know, like a 4Runner. It'll never break on you. and it has a extremely high resale value. So even when you sell it, you'll probably get the same amount back. Next year, there's likely to be a declared recession. Could this push BTC down hard? No, I don't think just declaring recession is going to do it. If the markets sell off, then that would do it. But I don't think a declared recession is really going to do anything. It really depends on what Powell's going to do. I think no one really cares if there's a declared recession or not. We are in recession. Whether you declare or not, it's irrelevant. We are in recession. Everyone's just afraid of Powell. I mean, really, honestly, that's really what it comes down to, is to go keep raising rates or not. Jeep Gladiators look real funny. Like the backside to it look really funny. And you have to have some big tires to make it look good. I'm talking about at least 35-inch tires. 37's better. I've seen a 40-inch tires on a Gladiator. They look amazing, but if you're just using stock tires, it looks so bad. And Jeep Gladiators, unfortunately, Jeep charges for everything. They nickel and dime every single option that you want. So by the time you're done, you're talking about like a $70,000 truck for a Jeep. So, yeah. Toyota Yaris is the best small cars. They last a very long time economical. We'll agree to disagree. I'd rather buy a used 4Runner than buy a new Yaris. I think they discontinued the Yaris. The new Court, it's like 18 wide by 42 long, something like that. I have not tested the new S-Class. I just got done reviewing the new EQE, which is like the smaller version of EQS. It's an EV E-Class, basically. It's pretty nice. Pretty nice. A little small for my taste, but it's pretty nice. I'll be coming out with that review probably this weekend. All right, guys. That is it. So much news and more tomorrow. PC numbers tomorrow. Make sure you tune in. 8:15 a.m. Central Standard Time. We'll cover that and how the market reacts. Also, Jim Cramer cries on TV. Elon fires everyone. Big stuff. Stick with Bitcoin. All right? And smash the like, subscribe to the channel. See you guys tomorrow, 8:15 a.m. Central Standard Time. And, and I put out another house video, too. If you didn't watch it, go watch it on I Am George channel. All right, have a good night. Bye-bye.